Up guys, what's going on? Figured I would dip on here for a little bit. Got stopped a little bit early tonight. Holy cow, it's freaking cold and windy today. So I actually wanted to do another live outside. The other one didn't load up for some reason that I just did earlier there. I stopped at a classic car place. They sell old cars. It's actually, wow, one of the people in one of my last chats here actually kind of got me thinking about this, about like the quality of parts and things like that, and what people think are like good places to get parts from and stuff like that. So kind of curious to talk about that a little bit. We'll see if we get any people in here or not, but it's I guess it's a Sunday, so there'll probably be a few people around. This is usually the time that my UK people come in here. If you guys are just jumping in, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and check out my videos there. So if you're looking for like classic car parts and stuff, kind of what you tend to see is like I was just mentioning that I had gone to LMC Trucks to pick up a bunch of square body parts there, and so it was kind of interesting that the square body parts or whatever from there are supposed to be premium parts, and when I went to pick them up, it was a good thing that I did, because they were already at that place. Some of them had scratches, some of them had dings and things like that. And that got me thinking, like, I wonder if the same premium parts are what you're basically getting these days at if you order them from Amazon or eBay or things like that. Like, I don't know if a lot of you guys that come in and out of here or whatever, if you've followed my channel for a while here, you know that when I built my LS swapped Camaro there, that thing has like $130 stainless steel eBay headers on it, and they're super cheap. Like I said, $139. They're super thick flange, good welds. They're like stainless steel, and the 1 7/8 primaries and stuff. They're like a good quality. The fit was really good. Honestly, they fit better than my $1,200 headers that I had for my small block Chevy, like the Hooker Super Comps or whatever that were on there at one point, and those things were like $1,200-$1,300, and these were $130. So if you guys are just jumping in, I just somebody was asking me yesterday about like getting parts and getting premium parts and stuff from like eBay or Amazon or whatever, that kind of stuff. What's up, Dylan? How's it going, man? I was on here earlier, but my stream didn't upload. Oh, Aaron made it back again. Just kidding. I got stopped early for the night here in the old humble abode here. This is what I got when I travel around, cheaper than hotels. Not too bad, man. So yeah, like when I went and picked up the parts from LMC Trucks there, which is like, I will say the LMC truck parts, I know for a fact from using them that they fit really nice. Usually the fitment is pretty good. It's close to the quality. No, I'm over in Texas right now, but yeah, like the quality of parts and stuff, if you get them from like LMC and stuff, like the fit is good, but the actual quality of the parts is like, if you go take like a factory square body fender and then you go look at these premium quality fenders or doors or whatever you're going to put on your vehicle, it's like paper thin in comparison. It's not because the metal's better, because the metal's not better. I guarantee you these things aren't going to last 60 years on these trucks. So they might fit okay and stuff, but so I don't know. We've bought some fenders from like eBay and Amazon and stuff like that. It seems like the body parts are just kind of tricky to begin with. Are you in Iowa there, Dylan? Where are you at? I'm always into buying new vehicles. What part of Iowa? That's where I used to live, actually. I lived there for a while. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like Woodbine, not too bad. Ah, you made her back there, man. I was on earlier, but it was so windy and cold, and it started getting dark right before I went online. I jumped on here earlier. I was at a classic car place there. Are you still in here, Dylan? or Aaron, sorry. I found out some information on those cars there. Most of them are just oddball type cars or whatever. They do have titles. Yeah, so I actually, they was open. They're open like, they're open like weird days, like Thursday to Monday. That's their schedule. The open time was on, and then I was like, it looks like there's people inside there. So as soon as it got dark and I shut the live stream off, I went inside there. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's good enough to crash in for the night or whatever. It's got a good heater, and that's all that really matters. So yeah, anyways, Aaron, I stopped in there and I went and dipped in, and the owner was actually there or whatever, and he's like, he said they have about 200 cars there. He said most of them are oddball. They don't sell any parts at all. He said some of them are complete totally, and some of them, he said, like a lot of them don't have like drivetrains or missing stuff, but they don't sell any parts off of them or anything like that. So that was kind of interesting. But that car that was sitting up front there, that Edsel there, he thinks it's complete. He was pretty sure, not running or anything like that, but nice. But he said $3,000 for that with the title. I thought that was pretty good. So, but yeah, he said a lot of them are already like missing parts. He said they don't have any muscle cars anymore. So like you're not going to find like Camaros and old Mustangs and Camaros and Firebirds and stuff like that there. But he did say that they get like weird stuff. So he said if you want like weird old cars like that are kind of not necessarily like mainstream. So yeah, so I thought, hey man, that was, I mean, honestly, for a person selling them, it was pretty decent. They did have some parts hanging in their main area there, but he said they don't really sell parts. He said they won't take the parts off the cars, so that's something to think about anyways. But I don't know, I guess 200 cars, it goes pretty quick. He's like, yeah, I can't really, he's like, I can't really keep up with finding them because they're getting so hard to find now. So I get that too. And also, like, the cars that he sells are not like people aren't actively hunting them because they're kind of like oddball cars, right? So that's kind of interesting. I have been in Woodbine. Yep. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. It's cool to know that there's still places out there like that. I know that that place in that somebody was asking me about earlier. So where I went to that place, it's in one of my videos there in. Yeah, exactly. So when I went to that place in Arizona there, it's got like 8,000 cars or whatever. They will sell them complete too. And they can get you a title, even though some of their title's burnt, they can get it for you, but they'll charge you extra. But that place, they will sell complete cars, but a lot of their cars have been picked over already. So that's something to kind of think about. But anyway, so yeah, I was just kind of thinking about it. Somebody had asked me in the live stream last night, they're like, what do you think about like some of the premium parts that they sell these days on like Amazon or eBay and stuff? And honestly, there's some that are pretty decent. Like I said, $130 long tube headers for my LS swapped Camaro, and they fit better than $1,300 hooker headers. So I mean, you know, I think that's a pretty good deal. Dylan, I seem to have been on every day lately. I'm thinking I'll be home tomorrow, probably working on it. I got a square body truck I'm working on. Yeah, I guess so. Hey, Aaron, I don't know. It makes it a little bit more complicated to find them. What I liked about this place I was at today there was that they actually, have some complete cars. Like, because a lot of those cars you're never going to find parts for. Like, if you start getting something weird like that two-door Edsel, for example, try finding glass for it, or try finding, obviously, even if seats were missing or something like that, you could conjure something up and make it fit, but it's to find stuff like that. And like I said, even like brake parts or whatever, a lot of those parts aren't going to exist anymore. Like, what about like a carburetor rebuild kit and things like that, right? Just kind of what it is. Restoration World in Ohio. Do they sell complete cars there, Roblox? Rob Fox. Roblox. There's a guy that's always in here. His name is Roblox. I thought that's who it was. Sorry, misread your name there. Do they sell complete cars with titles there, Rob Fox? Rob? I do not know. I do not know them. So I thought that thought that was kind of cool. I should have just stayed there. Actually, it was too dark to go look around by the time if I saw the sign open, I should have went and looked around before I jumped on the live stream there. I didn't even really realize it was an actual place until I kind of went and looked at the signs, and I was like, kind of looks like a place that's maybe been around but shut down. You know, sometimes guys just have gigantic collections, or maybe they were a business at one time and then they shut down. So I thought, well, maybe it wasn't, but I would have liked to have gone there. I don't think I've been in Harlan, Iowa. I don't remember. I don't remember. There's a lot of little towns in Iowa. I can't remember all the names. I've been all over the place there, though. So, yeah. What's everybody up to tonight? They might have seen me. It's a possibility. I've been up there lots. I lived there for a couple of years, so. Yeah. I kind of wish I would have checked in earlier there, because I could have went and looked at that Edsel there for $3,000. It might have been kind of an interesting car. I guess the thing with my channel though is like, it's interesting. Like, I know it's like a lot of the cars that, like, if I would show you guys on the live stream something like that, there's like a whole bunch of people in there, right? You saw earlier today when I was showing you all those cars, everybody was like sorry, I'm gonna block that guy. But yeah, if I would show you guys cars like that, like everybody in the live stream was like, oh, that's a cool car, that's a cool car. But would somebody really watch me build it or get it running and driving and things like that? I don't know. People are so particular. Like, honestly, people... So the way I see it anyways is that a lot of people that watch my channel are like... There's actually a lot of older guys that watch my channel, for example, that are like from a different generation, so they enjoy... That's why this 69 Buick Skylark video did so well, because that was like a muscle car from there, you know, from an era of guys that are 20 years older than me, for example, or whatever. So it's kind of, it's one of those things like, well, everybody was like, if you didn't have a Chevelle, or if you didn't have a Le Mans or whatever, or if you didn't have a Nova, you might have had a Skylark or whatever, right? So it's relatable. And so I think something like an Edsel, for example, it would be a very specific type of person that would watch that. Like, honestly, I think that Mercury car that was there would probably be more relatable, because it's kind of like, people don't like younger guys, or younger people, I should say, in general, don't really know. Local boy, what's going on, man? So it's not even really, like, Aaron, it's not really about even standing out necessarily. It's about, like, when people go to watch videos on my channel, you know what the #1 car, for example, searched on YouTube is? It's a Camaro, which is funny. And people like all the generations of Camaros. There's nobody, I mean, honestly, if you're a Camaro person, you like them all the way from 67 until freaking current, right? I mean, that's just how people are, kind of. And it's kind of funny in a way. So if you were to look at it, and even though I like to kind of twist the plot a little bit. So like, everybody wants a 67 to 69 Camaro, for example. But I would prefer, if I was going to do that, I would prefer to get like a 67 Firebird or a 69 Firebird or something, even though that car is way less popular and it would be way less searched. So it kind of makes it, I mean, I guess once my channel gets big enough, I can kind of veer off a little bit, because people will start watching it. But it does, because right now the things that are popular on my channel are things that are kind of like popular right now or whatever. Like, for example, like square bodies. Look at all my square body videos. Like, you know, all those square body videos, you have 10, 20,000, 30,000 views on them, whatever they are. So, but that's also like, a lot of people are able to afford them and buy them, so it's relatable, right? Even by today's standards, if you were to look at like someone like, you know, that could buy a vehicle, even like, honestly, a 16-year-old kid that has a job could afford a fixer-upper square body, so it's relatable, right? And then also guys that used to just use them for farm trucks 50 years ago or whatever, it's kind of relatable too. So So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. What's up, Ellis? You made her back, man. Yeah. So I don't know. It is complicated because there's a lot of vehicles I want to do. Like if you want to be totally honest, like what YouTube prefers is they want you to do the same thing over and over and over again. So if my best video is like that Skylark video, for example, really they just want to. Yeah, I can read your comment. Oh, sorry. My grandpa gave me a Nova, and he's got 4 Corvettes. Nice. I like Novas. They're cool. What's up, Luke? How's it going, man? So I guess it is kind of tricky to find cars that are relatable, like the Matador. Even though it was like, I thought it was really cool and interesting, it was a very niche market. Like AMC people are a certain type of people, so that one got decent views just because of that, but it didn't go crazy. But if it was something like an AMC AMX, it would have got way more views, even though that's not necessarily like the cars I would necessarily. I mean, I like them, don't get me wrong. It's just those cars are a lot more money and things like that. So it's kind of a. What's up, DSR? How's it going, man? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess they're kind of. I don't know. Once enough people find my channel where that trickle over effect would come, then eventually I feel like I could probably squeeze away a little bit there, and I could probably be like, okay, I could do something a little bit that's less mainstream, right? Like if you look at guys like Pole Barn Garage there, for example, he kind of does a little bit of everything now, even though, like, honestly, he does cars that are not cool even really, but because he's got such a loyal following, people will watch those videos anyways. I mean, there's a lot of cars that are like that he does that are like 4-door cars, or like weird cars that are, I mean, they're not even popular, like not even remotely popular, but people will watch it because it's interesting to his fan base, right? Or his viewers. What's my name? My name's Kevin. Cruising with Kevin, bud. Yeah. What's everybody else got going on tonight? Sorry I don't have anything exciting to show you guys tonight. Just chilling in the old camper here, but just kind of got me thinking about too, like if you're going to buy aftermarket parts and stuff like that, how hard they are to get and where you get them and the cost and like the quality of them and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm really having this struggle right now with this Buick Skylark to try to find parts that are affordable for it and things like that. It makes it like, not really like, again, if I was going to keep it, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it makes it like, if I have to run all over the place to buy parts for it, and if I have to go through all of the hassle of doing a bunch of body work and things like that, it makes it kind of complicated. Bro, don't cut down your long wheelbase. These young bucks call them OBS. Man, you know what? It's so funny. I'm probably going to get some hate for saying this, but like, there's so many cut down long bed trucks now that I'm actually starting to not like short beds, because literally all you see now is just short beds because so many have been cut down. And I don't even really have a problem with how people are doing it or anything like that, but it just I guess I just don't get it. If you want a short bed, just buy a short bed. There's tons of them out there. I don't know. I don't get it. If you go to look for a box or like a bed for an OBS truck or like a square body truck or whatever, there's more short beds for sale. If you want to just buy the bed, there's more short beds for sale now, it seems like, than there is long beds, because I don't know, whatever, people are cutting down the factory long bed trucks, so there's just way more availability of buying the short beds. But I don't get it. I kind of agree with you, Aaron. I think that there's starting to be I think there's starting to be so many people that have done it now that it's just kind of not really that cool anymore, honestly. I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess, and again, I'm not hating on any of this stuff because I have LS swap stuff too, but it's kind of like the same idea as how people feel about like LS swaps, right? They're like, well, everybody has an LS swap now. Well, that's how I'm starting to feel about like like a short bed truck. The only difference is when you do an LS swap, there's an actual purpose to it. It makes way more power. It doesn't leak everywhere. It's got better seals. It's got better heads. It makes, it gets better fuel mileage. It does everything better. With a short bed, you're just doing it just to kind of like, I don't know, you're trying to get the short bed look, but why don't you just buy a short bed, I guess. Then it just, if everybody has one, then it's like, it's not really the cool thing anymore. What's up, Brass? How's it going, man? I was on earlier, you missed it, but I was at a pretty cool place there. Aaron was in here earlier, but I stopped. It didn't upload for some reason, but I stopped at what's up from Wyoming, man? So I stopped at like a auto parts place there. They sell complete classic cars, and it was pretty much about, from all I saw anyways, was basically 19s, probably like 72 and older. It's pretty cool, but a lot of them are complete. Yeah, it was cool. I don't have a video because it was like the internet was so bad there. I think it didn't upload. It was kind of wigging out when I was out there, and it was freaking cold, and I was standing out in the wind freezing for you guys. Not cold like Canada cold, but I'm just a baby now, but it was like freaking 50-mile-an-hour winds though. That's cool though. Yeah, so I was just telling Aaron, I went in. It was weird because the open sign was on. It's a Sunday, right? And I thought it was already getting late, and I thought, well, they would be closed even if they were open today, which they probably wouldn't be. Then I was like, and they ended up being open, so I went and talked to the owner there, and yeah, most of them have titles and stuff like that, so it sounds like they turned quite a few over, and their prices were sensible, actually. There was an AMC, what are they? AMC Marlin Rambler 2-door. It was like I think they're like a hatchback or something, or a fastback for sure. Maybe not a hatchback, they're like a fastback, but they want like 12 grand for that. Yeah, there's definitely big money in cars. It doesn't even have to be older cars, honestly. I mean, there's tons of money in newer vehicles these days too. If you can do some body work and things like that, you can just buy cars and flip them for sure. Nice. So I'll probably stop by there next time I'm through there or whatever, but yeah, they turned quite a few cars over there. He's a very old school guy though. Like, he was like, kind of, you go ask somebody, like, and you're gonna ask them questions. I was like, do they all have drivetrains, or are they like missing some? He's like, I have like over 200 cars. How am I supposed to know? I was like, I don't know, man. I was just asking. If they don't have them, they don't have them. And it was just more curious because I couldn't see them, right? I couldn't see them. I was just in his office there. Where do I find most of my old cars? Mostly just Marketplace. That's the bulk of it there. Just private deals and stuff like that. That's the bulk of it. Yours will be better because you did it, DSR? I don't know. Like I said, I used to think the short beds were super cool, and now I just see them every day so much. I'm just like, not feeling it as much. I gotta be honest. It's 5073 Godzilla Highboy 250 Resto mods look sick. 100 to 125k. You know what's funny is, like, that's kind of like the same thing. This isn't even me saying this. So I was watching one of Sean Ellington's videos there when they went to SEMA, and they're like, literally, he's like, we just walked and walked and walked and walked, and he said all you saw was like the F-250 trucks with the big wheels and the lights underneath and the Carolina Squat. He's like, it was just like, he said that was like what the whole trend was this year. He's like, I didn't even get it. It just didn't really seem like, he said it didn't really seem like, after seeing so many of them, they're even that interesting anymore. I know, man, I used to like the short beds, but like I said, so many people have cut them down now, I'm just not feeling it anymore. All right, Aaron, catch you later. Thanks for stopping by. I didn't figure there'd be too many people on tonight anyways. It's a Sunday and I'm not in any place exciting to talk about anything exciting like I normally am, but that was pretty interesting earlier there anyways. But if you watch some of David Freiberger's stuff, he's got some really cool places he stopped at. There's a gigantic place in Idaho that's actually got really rust-free cars. You watch Rust Valley Restorers, there's a Mopar place, I think, up in Oregon, and they're honestly pretty sensibly priced for what their stuff is there. and a lot of them got titles. Not a problem, man. So what I should do at some point, just for curiosity, is just I like Rust Valley Restorers too. Those guys used to live pretty close to me, so they've been in some of my videos and stuff like that. It was funny because I just ran across them. I just bumped into them by accident at Famoso Dragway in California there last year. Just by accident. They were just there. Didn't even realize they were there until I ran into them. Avery was there too, actually. I don't want to choke you. I just don't. I guess I don't really care when you buy your own vehicle, it's you to do whatever you like with. I don't hate on people. I don't get it. For me, it's not relatable, I guess. Yeah, Brass, didn't you watch any of my, if you watch some of my older videos, if you go back, like, I don't know, I used to have a really long intro, and they were in my intro, actually. I was talking to the guy that actually created Rust Valley Restorers, is Matt Shuchuk there. I was talking to him, and I was talking to him and Avery there. You'll see him if you end up going back farther in videos a while back there or whatever. But yeah, it was kind of funny. I know, my older videos I didn't have as good of like editing software and mics and things like that. I wasn't really planning on taking this too serious when I first started, and then I started realizing that, this is kind of fun. I was enjoying it, so started slowly getting better with things there. DSR, there's a guy that's got like a LS swapped 3/4 ton OBS truck there with a turbo on it, and he's still running like the 8 lug tires. I think it might even be a 1 ton actually, and that thing does like the craziest burnouts I've ever seen. I think it's like 600 horsepower, so it's not like insane crazy, but I mean, it's because you can put those like gigantic treaded tires on it. The tires just last forever on it when you're doing burnouts. It's pretty funny. I forget what the guy's name is. He's on Instagram, but yeah, I've got better editing stuff now. I never used to pay for it, and so it took a long time to figure out like how to like just put videos together better into what people actually want to see and how they kind of want videos edited. People have like, I guess the shortest attention span, that's the best way to say it, is like they want constant like if you look at like most of the bigger YouTubers and stuff, there's constant like camera changes and like clips getting clipped and things like that. That's why I tell people all the time, it's a lot of freaking work to do all this like recording and editing all this stuff. I actually enjoy doing these lives with you guys because you can kind of, a lot of times I learn things, like usually when I'm working on something and I'll have a question or I'll say something like, well, I'm putting this together and I don't know why it doesn't really fit or something like that, or there's like something about it. And people in these chats are like super knowledgeable sometimes. I know this Chris that usually comes in here, I think it's his brother, is in here right now somewhere if he's still here. That classic car guy, I think it was his name. But Chris has like done these square bodies a bunch and like super smart guy. And then there was another, he was telling me how to put like the floor pans and the rockers and all this stuff, and I have done them a few times and I just never knew all that stuff. So sometimes you just got to learn. I used to do like, I've managed public works. I'm like certified water treatment operator, heavy equipment operator, sold equipment, stuff like that. Yep. So Summit Racing tomorrow. That's the plan anyways, but yeah, but it takes a lot of work to do it. So at least this kind of stuff is just kind of easier or whatever, but I always have an answer, but it might be a terrible idea. Sounds about right. Were you from there, DSR? I think you told me last time you were in this chat, if I remember right. There's a lot of people that come in these chats that have like very similar names. I remember Brass here, he's from Ontario, I think, or something like that. He's got a very, very specific name. It's easier to remember. Oh yes, you did tell me that. See, I remember your guys' names, but it's hard to remember where everybody's from. Weren't you the one that were saying you have all the coffee? Coffee beans or something like that? That's funny. Uploaded to my videos. Thanks, Brass. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's kind of funny. There's always like something with cars. But there was a guy in the chat the other day was telling me, and I had no idea. Man, I've had 50 of these square bodies, and I've never actually had a 73. I've had 74, so this is the first 73. Not that I would have known anyways, but he was telling like a whole bunch of different stuff about them, like and I kind of had noticed it as I was digging this one apart, but I didn't realize it was really specific to that year thing. Like the tailgate on the 73 trucks doesn't remove on like all the other years of square bodies. You can't just take it off. It's actually mounted on there. There's no, you know how they are on the square body trucks, or any trucks really, they have that slip collar so you can just tilt it and then pull it out. They don't have that, so you have to unbolt the brackets, which means the brackets are different too. Again, I never realized the bracket differences too until I went to put a different tailgate on one of my square bodies, and then it didn't fit, and then I tried another set of brackets and that didn't fit. So they have a whole bunch of different stuff. And then I think, what was the other differences in 73? It had like orange marker lights in the front there. That was the only year they had orange marker lights. So just stuff like that. It was kind of interesting. Even when you're looking for parts too, like a lot of guys don't think about this stuff, and like I said, I'm no expert. There's people come in these chats and they can know a lot more than me. All right, man, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. But like things like how the VIN plates on the dash on like the I think that only went to 77, I believe. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but I think it only went to 77. So if you go to get a different dash cover and it's like the wrong year, it's not going to have the opening for the VIN number, for example. There's just a lot of things about like stuff. Like Mike from Rust Valley Restores there, frick man, that guy is just a wealth of knowledge with Mopars. He knows those cars inside and out, man. It's pretty cool, actually. I've never been a guy that I have to be super interested in something specifically to remember all of the little details about it. I don't really get like that, but I do know things about certain like F bodies and stuff like that. But I just kind of whatever I gravitate to. If I'm super interested in it, then I kind of remember more details on them. But yeah, but I'm curious if people have done like, what I should do sometime is like next time I build something like a square body or something, I should buy like one Amazon fender and then get like one from LMC trucks or something like that and see how they fit. But I've been looking for parts for this Buick Skylark, and it's like hard to find the parts for it. So I'm trying to figure out if there's any sort of, sometimes it's not the exact, like they'll say it's not the exact model or whatever, for example, to try to find like headers for it or whatever, right? I'm trying to find like a set of long tube headers or even shorty headers or something like that. I've been doing modern cars for a side gig. Honestly, sick of that. Got one more Duramax engine swap, and I think what the thing is, honestly, DSR there, I think this is just my opinion, but it's like if you were to look at a guy like me, I know I could get views doing newer cars, because there's a lot of people, like I've had people literally, when I go to like car events and stuff like that, I've had people like that know me from the channel and stuff like that, and they'll be like, hey, how about like, you know, some younger guys, for example. I had a guy come up to me not too long ago and he was like, hey, would you do something like a Mitsubishi Lancer or something like that? I'm like, it's not that I really even have a problem with that. Like, I honestly, what I like about this channel is I like the ability to do like a whole bunch of different vehicles. And even if it's a car I would have never bought before, I like that I could probably get people to watch certain vehicles just based on, I know that they're popular or something like that. But like with modern vehicles, like, you know how it is, if you were to swap like a Duramax engine in or something or whatever, or like just fix it, number one, unless it's like, then you kind of turn into more of like a DIY channel. And that's where, if you look at some of my older videos, I was kind of catching myself with that a little bit, and that was kind of hanging me up, because you can't be with what I'm doing, you can't be both. If you start being a DIY channel, then people are going to come there for DIY stuff. But if I'm just doing like classic cars, then people will just come and watch the classic car stuff for the expectations, classic cars. And that's the kind of stuff that'll burn a channel, right? If you don't keep up with it. So it's yeah, it's just, and then it's time, right? Like, you know, if I'm going to try to do a video, you know, like, let's say if I even only did 3 videos a month or something like that. For a long time there, I did a video every single week for like, and I've actually locked a whole bunch of my videos that you guys can't even see anymore, but I did a video a week every week for like a year and a half. Like, that was bananas to keep up with. But when you start having to do like things where there's a lot of electronics involved, even though if you're not really having to like fix electronics, like the newer vehicles, yeah, there's lots of plugins and stuff like that. But like, I mean, I could swap a small block Chevy to a small block Chevy and have it done in a, you know, basically a day in and a day out, and probably that's even being generous. That's with me being slower than I've ever been probably, or working with like a lot less room or whatever. So it's just, I don't know, like I said, especially when you're starting out, unless you're just going to start out and start to plan to do like, okay, I'm going to do like one video, I'm going to start doing one video a month or something like that, then you could kind of get away with that. Or if you're just trying to even like flip it, if you were to think of like buying vehicles to flip, if it's going to take you 3 or 4 weeks to do a vehicle to flip, then you're not really, you know, it's hard to make money that way, I guess, because it takes so much time. So it's just, I guess it's just, again, what a person kind of wants to do, and everybody's got their own niche. There's a ton of people that do that kind of stuff like you do, but if you're going to do it for YouTube, then you pretty much have to dedicate yourself to that. And then once you start your channel, if you're only doing that all the time, you have to pretty much stick to that, right? You're not going to be able to like start doing Duramaxes and then, you know, like working on modern cars or whatever, newer-ish cars, you know, late model, whatever you want to call it, and then, you know, a year down the road try to veer off and do something else, because it'll kill your channel, right? That's, if you look at like a lot of the bigger, especially like automotive YouTubers, are a good example of this. And there's guys like Hoovie's Garage is a perfect example of this. His whole ordeal is like, I bought the cheapest blah 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 in the country, and it was a piece of crap, and I took it to my mechanic and he fixed it, and it cost me a fortune, and that was it, right? And that's kind of like, that's like his whole thing. And but every time he veers off of that, like let's say if he gets 500,000 views on a video or something like that, every time he like tries to do something different from that, his subscribers just absolutely annihilate him. Like he'll get his subscribers, you know, like the views will get cut down 75%, right? So, you know, when people are making really good money like that, it's pretty hard to not stick with what you're good at. So that's why I'm trying to mostly do classic cars. And like, to be honest, like if I'm being 100% truthful here, a car channel isn't really probably the smartest thing to be doing on YouTube, because there's a lot of other channels that you could do that would be a lot more economical. What's up, Chrissy? How's it going? You made it back. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I say in these chats all the time, like if you're going to do like an automotive channel like this, you have to kind of understand that it costs a lot of money to buy the vehicles and buy the parts and run around for fuel and wear out a vehicle and have a trailer and all that kind of stuff. So as soon as you start doing that, you know, you have to have all the other little things that go with it. And honestly, there's a lot of things about like doing like automotive stuff where people aren't as forgiving about it. So it's, people want certain content. Like, you know, it's not as bad as it used to be, but like, just for an example, like if you were to be a Chevy guy and all you're going to do is Chevys. What's up, Chrissy? But if you were just going to do Chevys, for example, you know, then the Ford guys, you know, if there was like, you know, there's still some diehard Ford guys or Mopar guys or whatever it is, then those people aren't going to watch it. So that's why I like a variety of stuff too. And I really do. I just like a lot of stuff. I never used to really like as much variety as I do, but now with like all the, this is like my third one today. I don't usually go on that often, but I was killing time this morning, so I dipped in here for a little bit and showed the guys some old cars there this morning, and then I went and did a live. I did a just before it kind of got dark, about an hour and a half ago or something. There, I went to a classic car place there and did a quick little video there. I'm just hanging out now. Usually I'm doing something when I'm in here, but I don't really have a set time. I probably should. If I was more organized, I actually would, but I'm always on the go, so never really seem to have time to actually schedule it. I'm usually in my garage working on something when I do these lives. Somehow we're managing to keep the spammers out of here today. I figured it would be kind of quiet tonight here. It's Sunday. Surprised my UK people aren't here. Usually UK people come in about this time of the day. But yeah, like I said, it's just kind of one of those things. So it's really like honestly, if you were going to do it, if I was going to start a channel right now, I would probably do something like an ATV channel, because it's easy to find. I mean, there's a zillion of them around. Everybody loves them. Everybody will watch that kind of stuff. You don't have to spend a bunch of money, and they're easy to sell once you're done with them. It's super easy to buy parts to modify them and things like that. So like, yeah, I don't know. That's probably, honestly, I've thought about even doing like a second channel with that kind of stuff, just because I like it and it's interesting, and people like so much different stuff. Honestly, if you're an ATV person, you like a lot of different variety. Most people that ride a side by side can still appreciate guys that have a cool quad, or ride three-wheelers, or like weird stuff like that, right? So I think honestly stuff like that is more, I think stuff like that is definitely more. It would be easier. It would be easier because you just get stuff for cheaper, and there's way more of them around. Like if you kind of think of it, like if you're gonna try to find a classic car of any kind, you're not gonna be able to just, most of the time, you're not gonna be able to go up the road and get a classic car for affordable or whatever. You have to run across the country or whatever constantly. Yeah, you can, but people don't really care if you do. Like honestly, I mean, back in the day, I actually had a YouTube channel, which I still have actually. I've only put a few videos on it, but some of those videos, when I didn't really know what YouTube was, I thought it was all cat videos on here or whatever, like 15 years ago or whatever it was, 10 years ago, I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I had like three-wheelers. Like at one point there, I think I had like 30 Yamaha three-wheelers at one point, all at one time. And so I was just putting snorkels on them and things like that. And it was funny because those ones actually got like quite a bit of views and stuff. And if you think about it, you could go buy like a Honda three-wheeler or whatever for, I mean, anything you're going to buy for is going to be cheaper than a classic car, and you can get your money back out of it, is the main thing, right? Like classic cars, sometimes it's really hard to actually just break even on them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, pretty much. Yep, that is true. That is true. I love me some three-wheeling though. I haven't actually had one in a long time. A couple years ago, I guess, I had a Yamaha. I've had all of them. I've had Suzuki, Yamaha, Hondas. I've had Kawasaki's, some of the old ones where they still actually had a manual clutch, those KLT three-wheelers. I actually had the very first four-wheel drive quad they ever made. It was called a Honcho, and it was chain driven. It was weird. It was chain driven to the front and the back, and then there was like a set of like, kind of like, almost like, basically just U-joints in the front. It was a really weird setup. It was terrible, but it was the very first four-wheel drive. Cut the scars from the 80s. Sorry, Chrissy, we're an automotive channel over here. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's funny. I'd like to find some, which they're still around. Like I just saw like a 250 Honda Big Red last week there, which, I mean, that's the best one you could pretty much get, aside from obviously going with like a 250R or something like that. But it was like, I think it was like $200. Like, I think it was even running, as a matter of fact. So, I don't know. Like I said, you could, and you just think about it. If you put it in perspective, it's not going to take anywhere near as long to build one, right? If you were to buy like a 3-wheeler, I mean, you could buy one that's got like, needs a little bit of paint or buffing or whatever, get it running and driving, have that thing ready to go. You could probably put 2 or 3 videos a week out, really, in comparison to like taking weeks to build like any kind of sensible classic car. So I did think about it afterwards, but I'd be kind of starting from scratch again. I'd have to make another channel or something like that. I pretty much use all the parts that I get there, Chrissy. Man, I would chase some tornadoes, I'm not gonna lie. I would probably chase some tornadoes. I've actually I didn't know how to go about trying to get views for it or to get people interested in it, but what I actually want to build is a storm chasing vehicle. So I wanna try to do something like on a budget that would be something that would be interesting for like a storm chasing car, that would be like a budget storm chasing car or something like that, and then actually try to take it out, because when it gets to storm season, there's always storms around my area, like tornado season, like something like that. I think that would be fun to build something like that, the old zombie apocalypse car. Yeah, exactly. Watch Twister. Man, the Twister Combine, you remember the original Twister? Yeah, you see, you're probably showing your age too, because you do remember that, I'm sure. But the original Twister Combine, it actually used to be, it was there forever. Like, I don't know what year that movie came out, probably 95 or something like that, I think. And the tornado, the one that was in the tornado, the Combine there, actually sat like an hour from where I used to live. It was at this Combine World in Watrous, Saskatchewan forever. And I actually just drove by there this summer and it was finally gone. They must have sold it or something. Yeah, I have too. I've had lots of old equipment and stuff that I've fixed over the years. That's actually how I started, and those videos actually, like, even look at my channel, just even some of the maintenance videos I've done on just some of these tractors I've used around my yard, and I just did like, you see there was like one, like a John Deere 2305 I had service video. Do you see how many views that has? I never even tried to push it or share it or do anything. I just posted it so that if people ever really, I thought there's always people looking that maybe don't know how to do certain things or what filters they take or whatever, and I just threw it up there. All I did was maintenance it. I didn't fix it, I didn't do anything. It was just a maintenance video, and you see how many thousands of views that video got. So like, if you were to like fix old tractors and stuff, same thing. You can buy old, if you were to just buy like the old tractors, you could buy those things for like $500 still. Paint them, fix them up, get them running or whatever. Diesels will always run unless there's something catastrophically wrong with them. You could do stuff like that and people would watch it for sure. Like a lot of people that watch, you got to think, are retired people. A lot of people that watch like YouTube a lot. So if you look at my channel, a lot of the people that watch my channel are actually like just some older guys and stuff like that, and they're just you know, just whatever, they got more free time or whatever. So and they also like the older cars, right? Because it's from their generation stuff, which is cool. But you know, that's, so those guys too, a lot of those guys grew up on farms and things like that, and they would watch that kind of stuff. Like, I've thought about doing that kind of stuff on another channel, but I just don't have the time. But if I was starting again, like I said, automotive isn't really the best. There's so many people trying to buy old cars and stuff now that the values have just gone up so much. It's not like 10 years ago where you could have bought it, fixed them, and then made some money on the actual cars too. It's getting really hard to do that. So you have to be like super thrifty to do that. I'm looking to start a YouTube channel by filling tornadoes with a drone to capture them. Yeah, that'd probably be tricky. I don't know how that'd be. I think that would be complicated. If it was that easy, somebody would be doing it by now, I'd imagine. But yeah, and like I said, it's, you know, if you want to actually get them out in a sensible time, don't get me wrong, there's some out there, but like, you want to be buying rust buckets where it's like every bolt that you touch breaks, and you know, you have to fix every panel and the floor pans are always gone and things like that, or do you want... Yeah, exactly. Where did it go exactly? Seen some of those videos around where guys are like flying around tornadoes and stuff in their airplanes and they're kind of like above them or whatever. That would be even a little bit too much for me. Yeah, exactly. And they want 10K for it. There's still some that haven't totally caught on yet, but then it's kind of the same problem that I was just talking about. It's like if you buy cars that haven't really caught on, or if people aren't as interested in them, then they don't get views anyway. So it's kind of that fine line, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. It's makes it really difficult to actually, you know, to do a full build on a vehicle, right? I think that's partially why the whole ratty muscle car thing has kind of gotten popular too, because yeah. That's right. I don't have a ton of space either. Like I've got a couple acres or whatever, but I don't have a crazy amount of space. I mean, I could fit, I have a lot of tree, like, I mean, most of my property's treed, but so I could probably buy a handful of cars and kind of store them. But really, if I had like 10 acres or something, it'd just be worth trying to stockpile them and just start having them ready to build as time goes on. That'd probably be the smart thing to do. But then you turn into one of those guys, I'm gonna fix it one day or whatever. So I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. Just deal with it as we go. 51 minutes in already. You got 40 acres. Heck yeah. You guys kind of get all that weird rust in Alabama though, right? It seems like kind of in southern Alabama or whatever, you guys always get, I don't know, it's from the humidity or whatever, or a lot of times you see like the pine needles and stuff piled on cars and then they just get rusted right through the roof or whatever. Lower quarter panels, yeah. I don't know. And I have noticed from your area, you guys have a lot more frame problems than some areas. I mean, if you get into the Rust Belt, you're gonna have all of the rust, but seems like Alabama kind of has spots, not all of Alabama, but it seems like there's spots of it anyways. Man, I can't believe it's been an hour and there's been no UK people in here. This is almost always when the UK people come in from across the pond. There was a lot of there was a lot of people in here this morning from Australia, actually. We got tons of problems. Yeah, it's like I said, even like the Skylark, like I don't know, do I just continue on with it or do I just like sell it for what I've basically got into it and then find a nicer one because I'm starting to actually like this car a little bit, but it's like once I go down the rabbit hole of like too much work as far as like spending time on it, like I said, people won't. See, I did say that. You made it back again. I think you were here yesterday, right, Mad? Or was that this morning? I don't remember. Must be like almost like a 12-hour time change in Australia there, because I think people this morning were saying it was like, I don't remember. What's the time in Australia there, Mad? That's funny. That's actually one of the cars that was really super popular, and they're still out there, but they're not. They've actually, when you really look at Novas, they've kind of lost popularity a little bit. So people, I think, would still watch it, but they're not as spicy as they were this morning there. It's 4 p.m. there right now? That's crazy. It's 11 o'clock at night here. That's cool. But yeah, just I think, I don't know what year Nova you had. Those Nova 2s or whatever, Chevy 2s or whatever people are all building now, those are pretty popular right now, but I'm starting to really like people that have swapped over like weird cars. Like I've seen, and I think I could get views on stuff like that because they're even though they're not mainstream, they're so weird that people are like, I have to like, it's like when something's happening that you shouldn't be staring at, but it's happening and you're just looking at it, like you can't look away. That's what a lot of these swaps are like. I just saw a guy, there was a guy in Maryland. What's up, Diesel? He made it back. Yeah, I just saw a guy in Maryland. He put a 455, 455 Oldsmobile in the back of a Porsche. Like weird stuff like that. Or there was I see a lot of like small block Chevy swapped like Datsuns, and there was a guy that had a 327 Chevy and a BMW, like a BMW four-door. It was just weird stuff like that. But like when I see them, I'm like, man, that is awesome. I want I want that, even though it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Can you imagine a 455 Oldsmobile in the back of a, like, it was a Porsche, like I think it was a 928 or something, like one of the really like older small ones, like those little tiny like bug eye ones or whatever. Have you ever worked on much Rancheros? No, none of them. Oh, it's going good there, Diesel. Just jumped on here for a little bit. I was on here earlier. You missed when we walked around the classic car area there. There was a classic car parts place here. Well, they actually sell complete classic cars in Texas. It was really cool. I've been by it 100 times, but I've never noticed it before. So I don't know. Probably always online. Honestly, I don't really care for too many of the Rancheros. I'd rather like if I was going to get something like a Ranchero, I would get like a El Camino, but I actually really like the Chevelle style front end on the El Caminos there, 72 or whatever they are. It's like I said yesterday too. Actually, somebody was asking me yesterday what the cars I think would catch on next. I think El Caminos are actually, the 70s El Caminos, even the 80s El Caminos are really underrated. I think the 70s ones, like I kind of said with a bunch of the 70s cars yesterday, you get a V8 as big as a 454 in some of those El Caminos, even though it's going to be a Smogger more than likely. But most of them are going to have at least a 350 in them. You got a turbo 350 transmission, which, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? A lot of them have turbo 400s even, and you get an 8.5-inch rear end. So, I mean, you put it, I mean, obviously you don't even really need a set of gears, but you could LS swap it or just put some, you know, I've been watching some guys like Tony Angelo there. They just bought a car that had it was like a Smog 350 Corvette, and it had the Edelbrock. You guys remember back in the day, if you're probably dating myself here again, but you don't really see it anymore, but you used to see it on like Power Block TV where they'd advertise the Edelbrock top end kit, and it would tell you the exact horsepower that it would made or whatever. And it would be like, usually I think this particular one was like, and that was pretty common, like the Smogger ones, they would get smaller chamber heads, so you get a set of heads, cam, intake, and the Edelbrock carb or whatever. And usually that'll give you about 375 to 425 horsepower, depending on what motor you kind of started with. And so that's what they had. And I always thought to myself, there's no way, because the compression was so low on those motors. I thought they just wouldn't make that without really upgrading the pistons or something. But it was definitely pretty spicy. I don't know if it made that much, but 375, like, even if it made like 325 or 350 or something like that, that's pretty decent. I actually like the Australian Utes better there, Mad. I have seen the Holden Commodore SS. It does scream burnout car. Man, the Australians got the burnout cars figured out. My Cummins built met his defeat. I pushed the limits on the dyno, 90-degree stock rods, 1,500 horsepower. Wow, that's bananas. Old school line lock, roast tires off. Yep. What's going on there? Blah. Oh my gosh, you guys and your names, man. Blah blah. Where'd you come up with your username? You guys do good Utes. If you're over in Australia there, do you guys still have the popular, those two guys that do the car channel there? I forget what their name was. Mighty Mods? Is Mighty Mods still a thing over there? Those two guys from Mighty Mods there? Short for Blake. See, why didn't you just call yourself Blake then? And then I'd remember who you were. Or I could say your name easier. I do like them though, but like I said, if like the El Caminos, like the 80s El Caminos are really, I think, a really good bargain. The only bad part is you only get a 7.5-inch rear with them, but again, for just daily drivers or nice cruisers or whatever, that's all you need anyways. Too many Blakes out there. Nice. Manitoba, Canada. Were you in here already before? Because I know there was a couple Manitoba people in here yesterday about this time too. I think there was a Winnipeg guy and then another guy from Australia. See, he remembers. There was somebody else from Winnipeg there. We have this identical. See? Because I didn't remember, because your name isn't rememberable. What's my idea of a streetcar? See the street outlaws, people like nice cars. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the technology has gotten so good now that, like, honestly, I know people that have, I've actually got, so in Canada, for example, you can't get E85. And I've got a friend that's got a 05 or 06, whatever it was, 06 GTO. It's got a built motor and stuff in it, but it made like 800 and I think it was like 820 or 840 wheel horsepower on just pump 9-to-1 gas. It's got methanol and stuff, and it's pretty built, but still, I think those are the cars that are really. I know, 2 Canadians. What's the oldest car I ever worked on? Well, I used to work in mechanic shops back in the day, so I worked on a lot of old cars. You'd get a lot of like random cars coming through there, old guys that would just kind of keep them up and just kind of drive them in the summers and stuff like that. So we used to get like, I remember actually people bringing in like cars from like the 30s, like literally the crank style, the old Model Ts and stuff like that. But I think it was like Model A's if I remember right. Some Model A stuff or whatever to change the oil and just stuff like that. No, they don't. What's up, Salina? Good day, eh? Why is it every time we say something about Canada, all of a sudden all this Canadian people start piling up in here? That's what happened last night too. I said something about Canada and all of a sudden it started being all the Canadian people. Everybody tells me that you can get it in Edmonton and Calgary, but I mean, most people that were going to build like cars like that don't live there. I've never personally seen it. I think there's only supposed to be like one pump in Calgary, as far as I know. That was all I ever heard. I remember when 94 came out in Calgary, it was like a huge deal. It was like all over all the boards and everything, the forums back in the day being like, holy cow, they got 94 now. It's like, yeah, but it's freaking, I think it was like 25% ethanol at that time. People didn't know what to do with ethanol back then, right? But here you can get it everywhere and it's cheap. Like I just saw it the other day again for $1.25. A barrel of it, I mean, honestly, unless that's the problem. If you want to tune it for E85 and you're going to buy it in barrels, what are you going to do? You're not going to daily drive it then. That's the difference down here, is that everybody that has 1,000 horsepower street cars, they just run them on E85 and you just drive it every day. I mean, no big deal, right? Aussies consider Canadians the cousins of the Commonwealth. Interesting. Found a pocket screwdriver in a vet. Piston several years ago. Sounded like a little mix. Nice. I've seen some funny stuff go through motors too. Yeah, I know, but like 93 isn't really, I mean, E85 is like literally like pump race fuel and it's cheap, right? 93 is not even close in comparison to making power. That's why so many guys like in Canada get scared off of making. Honestly, I will say there's a lot more guys making real power in Canada than there used to be, because the technology has just gotten better, and turbo technology and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But even like when you go to like tracks in Edmonton and stuff like that, there's a lot more guys that have like, you know, pretty quick cars. Back in the day, if you had 1,000 horsepower LS or something like that in Canada, you were like the king of the road. Now it's more commonplace for sure. I've done the same thing where I was like leaning over something and you hear it drop out of your pocket and you're like, uh-oh, where'd that go to? Especially when you have like the engine open or something like that. Yep, it's pretty funny actually. If you guys are new coming in here, I guess I never really said it this whole chat because I wasn't planning on too many people coming in here, but if you guys are new, just check out my videos and subscribe. Help me grow the channel. Tiger Cat equipment. Cool. I know the technology is getting insane. What I find the craze is like how much the prices of things have, you know, like, to build a motor. Like it is pretty wild that you can pretty much just take like a stock LS, put a cam in it, and you don't even really need heads or anything like that, and you can make 1,000 horsepower. And it's funny because it used to be like everybody was like, well, if you've got like a Gen 3 6-liter or something like that, it'll like, you know, it'll like crack the webs or whatever crack between the cylinders or whatever and stuff. And I mean, that's been myth busted a bunch of times. Everybody was going 5.3s for a while there because of that. But like, there's if you go check out a guy on Instagram there, oh man, I forget his name too, but he's got a square body, short bed square body truck there with just a Gen 3. I think it's got a 75, 76 turbo, something like that. I think it's just like a next gen CX or something turbo, and stock bottom end, never even opened up the gap or whatever in the rings, and it's just got like basically a sloppy trans brake setup and stuff on it. It made 820 wheel horsepower. He just ran it there, and yeah, I mean, he drives it every day and stuff, and he doesn't even turn it down. So that's basically like 1,000 horsepower. That's bananas. 400,000 for a skidder. I believe it though. Like, you look at all this new equipment, like even like a skid steer now. If you get like a tracked skid steer, I mean, they're well over 100 grand. Freaking half ton's 100 grand these days. My brother built the first street legal Ford GT Capri with a V8. Put a Boss 351 in it. Broke front suspension twice from pulling wheelies. That's actually, there's a good example of a car that I'd be interested in, like the Ford Capris. I don't like the general Fox body Mustangs because it's kind of the same thing where everybody's had one, but the Capris look so much different, and I think they're kind of cool actually. I actually like the turbo SVO Mustangs, the 4-cylinders, even like the turbo coupes, the Thunderbirds, all that kind of stuff. What's up, Ogrone? What's up, Tracy? Uh-oh, spammers finally made it in here, or what? Next compound will probably be some sort of spam. Yeah, I know. I really, for what I do, I should have a new truck probably, but it's pretty hard to argue when I bought a $12,000 truck, and I mean, it's probably more reliable than the new ones. Capris do have a deceptively large engine bay. They had the weird generation in the 70s too, and those cars are cool, but they're not as, I don't think they're as, there's modification friendly. I think they have like a smaller engine bay, and I think they have like a smaller differential and stuff in them, so they're probably not that good. I am from Oklahoma there, man. Canada, Oklahoma. See, I told you, the second I say Canada, a whole bunch of Canadians start piling in. Man, you're in the Canadian chat today. I think there's 4 or 5 Canadians in here right now. What part of Canada? Lou, we've talked about this. Nice. You got the CP4 problems though. That's the only thing. That's why I've never bought one of the 2010 to 2016 Duramax trucks. They're super cheap. Actually, I did buy one and it lasted me a whole month. Where are you from there, Augo? Man, you guys got weird names. Augrown. Break out the poutine. Heck yeah, see? Mad knows what's up. You can't even find poutine in the US. It's very disappointing. My heart probably doesn't need it anyways, but poutine is what's up. Another Ontario guy. There was another Ontario guy in here not too long ago. He's been in a bunch of the chats lately. Subscribed. What part of Ontario? Yeah, exactly. I've been wanting to build an 8.1. That's actually, that would probably be a pretty good start because you think about it, you got tons of cubes, you got the plug-on coil, you have, I mean, it's got a roller cam from the factory. There's a lot of good starting points there. The only thing that sucks is they're heavy. I know there's a bunch of companies that are making just basically a bolt-on top end for them, and they were making like 750 horse. It's like nothing to make 800 horse with a big block naturally aspirated these days. North of London, nice. Chips, gravy, and cheese. Heaven, nice. Thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate it. Check out the content there. I've got a bunch of old cars in my YouTube channel here. You guys, I don't know if you guys can see that in the video there. It's so windy, this freaking camper feels like it's gonna fall off my truck. I'm in a camper, yes, to sum up that. I'm not from Mexico City. That would be really, really different if I was. I am not. Oklahoma, man. You have 4 of them out of the trucks that I scrapped with the Allison transmissions. That's funny. Man, I have not had good luck with Duramaxes, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a Chevy guy. I like Chevys, but man, I don't think anybody in the diesel world has had very great success in the last 15 years. This camper is actually, even though it's tiny, it's only like 8'6", so it's actually just at the end of the bed, but it's got a full bathroom, shower, all that kind of stuff. Mama put me out. I'm laying in my camper also. Man, you probably live in your camper. Tell the truth. It's not so bad. Yeah, that's right. This one's, I've got this one that I'm driving right now. This, so that the camper's on, is a 16 Ram actually. Thanks there, Mad. Appreciate it, man. Man, now you got me wanting some poutine again. You didn't have to bring that up. I know. There's so many Canadians in here today. This is funny, you guys. You guys make me laugh. Where's all the Saskatchewan people at today? There was actually one, I think there was, no, actually I'm wrong. There wasn't. Somebody said something about Saskatchewan. I don't think we've had a Saskatchewan guy in here yet. We've had Alberta. We've had lots of Ontario people, Manitoba people, Nova Scotia. We've had it. Yeah, I guess we've had some British Columbia people in here. Hey, see? There's more people coming. I've had very good luck with Duramaxes. They always start in the winter. That is true. Ever since they got the high pressure rails there, they've actually been like, as far as like starting and all that kind of stuff, they definitely work pretty good, but not much to see around the camper here, man. It's a disaster right now. It's tiny. It's just a truck camper. If I turned you around, you'd be staring at the wall. It's all good. You have another YouTube that you go around the grass camping in the motorhome. Nice. Jesus, Gaines Electric, nice. I wish I would have had my toter home when I started this YouTube channel, because that thing was ridiculous. It was like a... I'll post pictures of it on my social media one day, but it was a ambulance originally. It was a 7.3 Power Stroke, and the guy took the ambulance box off of it, and he owned an RV dealership there. I could get my guy Trav from Saskatchewan. Where in Saskatchewan's Travis from? It was like the guy owned an RV dealership, and it was his winter pet project or whatever, and they literally just built this cab on it. So they built it with like a sport deck on the back, so it had like a gooseneck hitch on the back, but it was hidden, and it had like a pretty good sized box, but they made it so tall that it just dragged so much wind. It was like it killed the fuel economy and everything. It had tons of power. The guy actually flew the owner of DP tuners in to tune it, to live tune it. So I do not live in the camper. I could. I have lived in the camper before. I have lived in a camper before. It was a lot bigger than this though. When everybody else was hiding during COVID, I was traveling around in the camper. Rest the old bones for work tomorrow. Yeah, I guess you're on a later time there too. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by again there, DSR. Appreciate it. I saw you Blockbuster in 2008. You probably did. What's up from Florida? Candace Owens was right about you. Man, the comments are coming so fast I can't keep up. But yeah, there's Duramaxes. I don't know. Like I said, I just haven't had great luck with them, but that toter home was fun. It was turned up to like 900 foot-pounds and 550 or 550 horse. It was ridiculous. It would tow anything. It was like a little race car when you had nothing hooked up to it, but they had it so tall, and they never put an angle on the front, so it just didn't really make any sense. What's up, Magnus? How's it going? Yeah, so but that thing was fun. But I should post some pictures of it again one day. It only had like 90,000 miles when I had it. It was basically just used for towing a race trailer. Car, you fell in the. Somebody ran your phone over before you got back. Nice, nice. What's up, Levi? Working hard as usual or what? Smart guy, smart guy. What's going on tonight? You working the graveyard shift or what? Not too much happening tonight. Just hanging out, man. I know, you did say that. I just don't listen to you. You're in Houston? Yeah, I'm heading to Dallas tomorrow. I'm just over in just west of Dallas right now. I got to go to Summit Racing and pick up some parts. I can't wait for the New Year's. Yeah, I'm going to escape the cold. It's been really nice at home, but it's finally starting to get cold. Yeah, exactly what I was just going to say. So I think I'm going to take some holiday time in January and go someplace warmer. I know. I don't take it too seriously, man. I'm just bugging you. New Year is coming fast. Man, I can't believe how cold it actually is out. You know what's crazy is how freaking long a tank of propane lasts in this camper. This furnace has run for 2 months already, almost every day. And it's only got a 5-gallon propane tank in it. It actually ran, I left it on when I was at home, and it ran every day for like 2 weeks straight there, because it was kind of cold for a little while there, and it ran every day. And it actually killed the battery, and it's still on the same propane tank. I didn't realize it until I went to take it this trip. What are you up to there, Levi? Just came by to say hi or what? It's pretty late where you're at there. Everybody comes in so late. It's always like 1 or 2 in the morning when you guys stop by your time. What's up, Tweakin'? What's up, Noel? How's it going, guys? You work late shift at work or what, Levi, normally? Or you just happen to stop by when it's late all the time? Were you here this morning when I was doing the alien walk around there? That was funny. People were like, that was making me laugh. I feel like you were here this morning too. I can't remember, man. There's so many people that are coming back that are like the same people. I don't go to sleep until 4 a.m. That's crazy. You guys got snow up there or what? I actually need to take a trip up there. I forget where you're from. I know you're in the Northeast somewhere there exactly. I want to say you're in Pennsylvania, but I actually need to take a trip up there, but no idea, man. All I do is cars. You got to figure that out on your own. Get a job. Okay, I knew you were somewhere up there. I couldn't remember. Oh yes, that's right, because you do like security type stuff. That's why you keep coming here. Check on what I'm doing. Oh, here comes the spammers finally. Yeah, I gotta get on here more often and try to get my subscribers up there a little bit. Last few videos have been rolling along pretty good though. Monitoring the boundaries of our great America. Heck yeah, man. I love it. What's going on, man? Not too much today. I'm usually working on old cars or doing something actual useful. I had some fun videos today when I was just traveling around there. I went to, you guys could probably watch that from this morning if you wanted to, but all right, but Levi, thanks for stopping by, man. I stopped by Roswell, New Mexico, where all the alien stuff is. Just like people were like, what is going on here? They got some cool stuff there though. Yeah, I got a lot of old cars on my channel there, Doris. I buy mostly just old classics and stuff. I don't know. I try to find things that are interesting. I do not live in my camper. I could, but I don't need to because I have a house. Yeah, a lot of people off school, that's true. Where are you from there, Doris? I can't remember if you said or not. Yeah. Where'd all the regulars go? Everybody dipped now finally? Anyways, maybe I'll do a live from Summit Racing tomorrow. Their clearance center's closed tomorrow, so that sucks because that's usually where I go buy a bunch of stuff I absolutely do not need. But they've had so much overflow lately that it's like it's been fully stacked up with stuff even in their main building there, so it's kind of cool. But see what I can find there. Need to figure out some sort of paint situation for the square body truck. Nobody's helping me with that. That's what the chat was supposed to be this morning, but you guys didn't give me any solutions at all. You guys get off track too easy. I try to have a subject I'm talking about, and you guys get off all kilter. I was trying to figure out what color to paint my car and if I could paint in the cold. It's going to be too cold anyways, I'm realizing now, because it's going to be freezing at night for the next week there pretty much. So guess I won't be pulling it outside to paint it, so I'm kind of thinking that I'm probably gonna have to rattle can it in the garage. I'll probably get roasted for it. We'll see how good of if I get that far on it, I guess. We'll see how far I get on it this week here. Body work always takes forever, but holy spammer, man. All right, there comes the spammers. Ooh, that was a whole run of them. So yeah, anyways, it was just I gotta head to Summit Racing, need a few parts and some paint and things like that, I guess, and we'll go from there. It's crazy how freaking expensive stuff's gotten, like the like 2K clear coat, for example. It's like freaking $25 a can for a rattle can of it. I don't understand. And I know 1K wouldn't hold up as good. It would probably be good enough for what I'm doing with it, but if you want it to look really good, it really needs to be 2K primer. You can get away with kind of a cheaper paint underneath, but if you're spraying something that's going to get UV affected, which of course your car is, it's really the best thing to do is put 2K clear on it. But freaking, I thought it'd be like $12 a can, not freaking $25 a can. So just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do there, I guess. It's I need to figure out color choices and stuff too. So I've got a lot to do on that truck. I'm hoping the next week I can just kind of spend working on it and try to get it all assembled and maybe painted is what I'm hoping, but we'll see how it goes, I guess. That I've got heat in the garage now, so that'll definitely help that problem. What's everybody else got going on tonight? Where are you from there, Doris? Yeah, so I don't know. We'll just kind of see, I guess, what happens with it. But I think I have the bulk of the parts. I need some of the... I always forget about that. You need like the trim that goes around down by the feet where you open the door. They call it like the sill trim or whatever. I kind of forgot I needed that. I should have got some patch-up metal for the bed because it's got a couple small holes in it. And they actually make, so if you're ever fixing those square body beds, I don't know if LMC Truck sells it, but they actually make those ribbed panels so you can cut them out and patch the new pieces in and weld it in or whatever. But I didn't really realize that there was rust holes in the bed until I actually got all the junk out of it. So that's the next problem to deal with there, I guess. Kind of see how it goes. But what do you guys got going on today here? Everybody got quiet all of a sudden. Everybody was yakking up a storm, and all of a sudden everybody got quiet. So anyways, at least I got all the LMC parts for that truck or whatever there, so we'll just kind of see. I know I'm missing a few things or whatever, and I looked online at the Summit Racing single stage stuff there, but I won't be able to spray that in my garage. It'd just be way too much overspray on everything. And I don't really have the space to do it. The reason I was thinking about doing it with like panel at a time with the rattle cans is because I could actually do it in small sections like that. So, but anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna dip out and catch some sleep here. So thanks for stopping in again. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe and check out my last videos there. I got a whole bunch of old car videos on the channel there and stuff and whatever, but hopefully I'm home tomorrow and working on the square body, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks for stopping by, guys.